Japan. A country admired across the globe. A place where bullet trains arrive within seconds of schedule. Where ancient temples stand peacefully beneath towering skyscrapers, and where millions of people move through some of the world's busiest cities with remarkable order. To many travelers, Japan feels almost unreal. It is a country of dazzling neon lights, spotless streets, polite strangers, futuristic technology, and centuries-old traditions existing side by side. From the electric energy of Shibuya crossing to the peaceful bamboo forests of Kyoto, Japan has become one of the world's most celebrated travel destinations. Every year, millions of visitors arrive hoping to experience the country they have seen in movies, documentaries, and social media. They come searching for sushi crafted by master chefs. They line up to ride the Shinkansen. They photograph cherry blossoms. They spend hours exploring arcades, anime stores, and glowing entertainment districts. And when they leave, many believe they have seen the real Japan. But every nation has stories hidden beneath its postcards. Every city has neighborhoods that tourists rarely enter. Places that reveal not only prosperity, but also struggle. Not only success, but sacrifice. Not only beauty, but history. Today, we're leaving behind Japan's famous landmarks. We're stepping away from the bright lights. We're going beyond the neon. Because behind the polished image admired around the world lies another Japan. A Japan shaped by workers who built modern cities with their own hands. A Japan marked by economic booms and painful recessions. A Japan where some communities have quietly lived on the margins of society for generations. These are not places of fantasy. They are real neighborhoods. Real people. Real stories. And understanding them helps us understand Japan itself. Before we begin, remember this. This documentary is not about judging Japan. Every country has neighborhoods affected by poverty, inequality, or social change. Japan is no exception. The goal today is not to sensationalize these communities, but to understand them with honesty, respect, and empathy. Because sometimes the most meaningful journeys are the ones that take us beyond the places everyone else is already looking. Our journey begins in Tokyo, one of the largest metropolitan areas on Earth. A city of more than 30 million people. Every day, millions of commuters fill its trains. Its skyline stretches farther than the eye can see. Luxury department stores stand beside centuries-old shrines. Restaurants earn more Michelin stars than almost any other city in the world. For many visitors, Tokyo feels almost flawless. Yet only a short distance from the glittering shopping districts lies a neighborhood with a very different story. A place known as Sanya. Few tourists intentionally come here. Many Tokyo residents pass nearby without ever visiting. Its streets are quieter. Its buildings older. Its pace noticeably slower than the city surrounding it. But decades ago, this neighborhood played a role in building modern Tokyo itself. To understand Sanya, we need to travel back to the years following the Second World War. Japan faced enormous devastation. Entire neighborhoods had been destroyed. Infrastructure needed rebuilding. Factories had to reopen. Homes had to be constructed. Roads, bridges, railways, office towers, and apartment buildings all required an immense workforce. The country needed labor. And thousands of men answered that call. Many came from rural villages where opportunities were scarce. Others arrived after losing everything during the war. Some traveled hundreds of kilometers with little more than a small bag and the hope of earning enough money to survive. They found work through daily hiring. Each morning, construction companies would gather looking for workers. If selected, a man could earn enough to pay for a room, food, and perhaps send money home. If not selected, tomorrow would become another day of uncertainty. Sanya became one of the most important centers for this type of employment. Cheap lodging houses, known as doya, appeared throughout the neighborhood. These weren't hotels for tourists. They were practical places where laborers could sleep for a night before waking before sunrise to search for work again. The rooms were tiny, often just large enough for a single futon. Simple, affordable, temporary. Yet for thousands of workers, they represented opportunity. Morning after morning, men gathered on street corners waiting to be hired. Some worked on bridges. Others helped build highways. Many contributed to apartment complexes, stadiums, factories, railways, and office buildings. The skyline millions admire today owes much to people whose names were never recorded. Tokyo's rapid economic growth became known around the world as an economic miracle. But miracles are rarely effortless. Behind every tower stood countless workers lifting steel. Behind every railway, thousands who poured concrete under the summer sun. Behind every modern neighborhood, people whose hands shaped the city brick by brick. Sanya became one of the engines powering that transformation. Yet prosperity brought change. As Japan's economy evolved, construction methods modernized. Large companies hired workers differently. Temporary day labor declined. The neighborhood that had once been full of young workers slowly began to age. Many laborers never married. Others lost contact with family. Some had nowhere else to go. As decades passed, Sanya gradually became home to an older population living on modest incomes. Today, visitors walking through the area might notice aging apartment buildings, inexpensive guesthouses become financial centers. Others become entertainment districts. Others preserve historical traditions. And some become places where society's hardest work quietly takes place. Sanya's story also became surrounded by social stigma, conflict, community, and survival. To understand Japan beyond the neon, this is where we must go next. For many years, manual labor carried less social prestige than office work in modern Japan. Construction workers who had once been essential to rebuilding the nation gradually became less visible in public conversation. Even the neighborhood's name became less commonly used in official references, with nearby district names often appearing instead. Whether intentional or simply administrative, the result was the same. Many visitors never realized the community existed. But history cannot simply disappear because it is no longer discussed. Walk these streets today and you can still find traces of the past. Older storefronts, since greeting one another after decades as neighbors. Far from being abandoned, Sanya continues to evolve. In recent years, another transformation has quietly begun. Backpackers searching for affordable accommodation discovered many former doya had been renovated into budget guesthouses. Young travelers now stay in buildings that once housed construction workers. Some never realize the history beneath the walls around them. Others intentionally visit because they want to understand a different side of Tokyo. The neighborhood has become an unusual meeting point between past and present. Between visitors searching for authenticity and residents carrying memories stretching back half a century. It reminds us that cities are living organisms. They change. They adapt. They reinvent themselves. Yet their foundations remain. And sometimes those foundations were built by people history almost forgot. Standing here, it becomes impossible not to ask a deeper question. If places like Sanya helped build modern Japan, why do so few people know their story? Perhaps because success often celebrates finished buildings more than those who built them. Perhaps because cities naturally emphasize their brightest attractions. Or perhaps because difficult histories are easy to overlook when everything around us appears to shine. But our journey is only beginning. Because if Sanya tells the story of workers who helped construct Tokyo, another district hundreds of kilometers away reveals an even more complex chapter of modern Japan. In Osaka lies a neighborhood that has long challenged the country's image of prosperity. A place known as Kamagasaki. Its story is one of resilience. Osaka. If Tokyo is often described as Japan's polished capital, Osaka is its energetic soul. The city is famous for its food, its humor, and its unmistakable personality. Every evening, thousands of visitors gather beneath the glowing signs of Dotonbori. The giant mechanical crab moves above the crowds. The famous Glico running man shines across the canal. Street vendors prepare takoyaki and okonomiyaki as laughter fills the air. For many travelers, this is Osaka. Bright, friendly, endlessly entertaining. Yet less than 15 minutes away by train lies a neighborhood that tells a completely different story. There are no giant billboards here. No crowds taking selfies. No luxury shopping malls. Instead, the streets are quieter. The buildings are older. Many bicycles lean against weathered apartment blocks. Small eateries open before sunrise, serving inexpensive meals to customers who have been awake for hours. Welcome to Kamagasaki. Officially known today as Erenchiku, this district has long been one of Japan's largest communities of day laborers. For decades, it became a destination for men searching for work, shelter, and a second chance. Like Sanya in Tokyo, Kamagasaki grew alongside Japan's rapid economic expansion after the Second World War. Factories needed workers. Construction companies needed labor. Roads, ports, bridges, and skyscrapers had to be built. As Osaka expanded, thousands of men arrived from across Japan hoping to earn a living. Many carried little more than a change of clothes. Some had left struggling farming communities. Others had lost stable employment elsewhere. For many, Kamagasaki offered something simple but powerful: opportunity. Every morning before sunrise, the neighborhood came alive. Long before tourists ordered breakfast in nearby hotels, laborers gathered in search of work. Contractors arrived looking for crews. Some workers found jobs within minutes. Others waited anxiously, hoping their name would be called before the morning ended. A single day's work often determined whether they could afford dinner that night. This daily uncertainty shaped life in Kamagasaki. Unlike full-time employees with long-term contracts, day laborers rarely knew what tomorrow would bring. There were no guarantees. No predictable salaries. No paid vacations. Every sunrise offered another chance, and another risk. Despite these hardships, the district developed a strong sense of community. Affordable boarding houses lined the streets. Family-owned restaurants served filling meals at low prices. Bathhouses gave workers a place to wash after long days of physical labor. Local clinics treated injuries common in construction work. Over time, Kamagasaki became a city within a city. Not wealthy, not glamorous, but deeply interconnected. Residents looked after one another because they understood the challenges each person faced. Many had experienced similar struggles. For years, Japan's booming economy ensured a steady demand for labor. Major projects transformed Osaka's skyline. Preparations for international events created even more construction jobs. The neighborhood thrived because the country was growing. But growth never lasts forever. During the economic slowdown that followed the bursting of Japan's asset bubble in the early 1990s, construction work declined sharply. Suddenly, thousands of workers found themselves competing for fewer opportunities. The uncertainty that had always existed became even more severe. Frustration grew. Tensions increased. The relationship between residents and authorities became increasingly strained. Kamagasaki had experienced periods of unrest before, but the changing economy amplified existing problems. Throughout the latter half of the 20th century, the district saw several protests and riots, often sparked by disputes involving police, labor conditions, or broader frustrations over inequality. These events attracted national attention and reinforced the neighborhood's troubled reputation. For many people elsewhere in Japan, Kamagasaki became known not for its hard-working residents, but for dramatic headlines. Yet headlines rarely tell the full story. To understand Kamagasaki, you have to slow down. You have to listen. Imagine a man arriving here at 20 years old. He expects to stay for a few months. He finds construction work. He earns enough to survive. Weeks become months. Months become years. The city keeps growing, and so does his experience. Then one day, the projects become less frequent. His body grows older. Heavy lifting becomes harder. The younger workers are chosen first. He stays because he has nowhere else to go. By the time he reaches retirement age, Kamagasaki is no longer just a place to work. It has become home. This story has played out thousands of times. Many longtime residents spent decades helping build modern Japan. They poured concrete for expressways. They reinforced bridges. They carried steel into rising skyscrapers. They worked through freezing winters and humid summers. Their labor helped shape the nation that millions admire today. Yet many now live quietly on modest pensions or social assistance. Walk through the neighborhood today and you'll notice signs of change. Some older boarding houses have closed. Others have been renovated. Community organizations operate food programs, medical clinics, and counseling services. Volunteers distribute meals. Non-profit groups help residents find housing and healthcare. These efforts rarely appear in travel guides, but they reveal another side of Kamagasaki, a community refusing to abandon its own. Visitors expecting danger are often surprised. While petty crime can occur, as it can in any urban area, many travelers describe Kamagasaki as far calmer than its reputation suggests. In fact, violent crime rates in Japan remain low by international standards. The atmosphere here is shaped less by fear than by economic hardship and an aging population. That distinction matters. Poverty is not the same as violence. Old buildings are not evidence of lawlessness, and difficult circumstances do not define the character of the people living within them. One of the most striking places in the district is the former Aran Labor Center. For decades, it served as a gathering point where workers and employers connected. Its large concrete structure became an unmistakable symbol of Kamagasaki itself. Every morning, hundreds, and at times thousands, of laborers would gather here hoping to secure work. The building witnessed dreams fulfilled and hopes disappointed. It became a place where countless lives intersected. As redevelopment projects have reshaped parts of the area, debates have emerged about what should be preserved. Some argue that modernization is necessary. Others believe the district's history should remain visible as a reminder of the people who built Osaka. Both perspectives raise important questions. How should cities remember the workers who shaped them? What responsibilities do modern societies have toward those whose labor made prosperity possible? Can redevelopment honor history without erasing it? These questions are not unique to Japan. From London to New York, from Seoul to Sao Paulo, cities around the world wrestle with the same challenge. Progress often transforms neighborhoods, but it can also make yesterday's stories disappear. As the evening sun sets over Kamagasaki, elderly residents gather outside small cafes. Some play board games. Others quietly share drinks after another ordinary day. There is laughter, conversation, friendship. Life continues, not despite the neighborhood's history, but because of it. For outsiders, Kamagasaki is often viewed through stereotypes. For those who live here, it is simply home. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson this district offers. Places become misunderstood when people stop listening to the individuals who live there. Every neighborhood has a reputation. But reputations are rarely as complex as reality. Our journey, however, is about to move beyond economics and labor. To understand another hidden layer of Japanese society, we must explore a subject many people inside Japan still find deeply uncomfortable to discuss. A story rooted not in modern cities, but in centuries of history. A story about identity, discrimination, and the lasting impact of social divisions. To understand the Japan beyond the neon, we now turn to one of the country's oldest and most sensitive legacies. As our journey continues, we leave behind the aging streets of Kamagasaki. But the next story cannot be found by simply walking through a neighborhood. There are no obvious landmarks. No signs pointing the way. No museums filled with tourists. Instead, this chapter is about something far less visible. It is about memory. About identity. and about how history can continue to shape people's lives long after the laws themselves have changed. To understand this story, we have to travel back hundreds of years. Long before Japan became known for bullet trains and robotics. Long before the neon lights of Tokyo and Osaka, Japan was governed by a rigid social hierarchy. People were born into different social classes. For most, that class determined what kind of work they would do, where they would live, and how society viewed them. At the top were warriors and political elites. Farmers occupied another important position because they produced food. Artisans created tools and crafts. Merchants, despite often becoming wealthy, occupied a lower social rank because they were seen as profiting from the labor of others. Outside this structure existed another group. People whose occupations involved work considered spiritually impure under certain religious and cultural beliefs of the time. They worked with animal hides. They prepared leather. They handled the dead. They carried out executions. They performed jobs that society depended upon, yet often refused to acknowledge. Over generations, these families became socially isolated, not because of anything they had chosen, but because of the occupations assigned to their ancestors. Eventually, many came to live in separate settlements. Over time, these communities became known collectively as Buraku communities, and the people connected to them became known as Burakumen. It is important to understand what this term does, and does not, mean. Burakumen are not a different ethnicity. They do not speak a different language. They share the same nationality, culture, and history as other Japanese people. There is no physical characteristic that distinguishes them. In everyday life, you cannot identify who is or is not from a Buraku community. The difference has always been historical rather than biological. In the late 19th century, during the Meiji Restoration, Japan officially abolished the old class system. The law declared former outcast communities legally equal to all other citizens. On paper, centuries of discrimination had ended. But changing laws is often much easier than changing attitudes. Social prejudice can survive long after legislation changes. Families passed stories from one generation to the next. Communities remembered old boundaries. Some employers quietly avoided hiring people from certain backgrounds. Some families opposed marriages if they believed a prospective spouse came from a Buraku community. These practices were rarely discussed openly. Instead, they existed in whispers. Private conversations. Family expectations. Invisible barriers. Unlike visible discrimination, this kind is difficult to measure. It rarely appears in official statistics. It leaves few documents behind. Yet for the people affected, its impact can be deeply personal. During the 20th century, activists and community organizations worked to change this reality. Educational campaigns challenged old prejudices. Infrastructure in historically disadvantaged neighborhoods improved. Government investment supported housing, schools, and public services. Many younger generations grew up rejecting the assumptions held by earlier decades. As a result, enormous progress has been made. Today, many people have never experienced direct discrimination connected to Buraku ancestry. Others may never even know whether their own family has historical connections to one of these communities. Japan has changed dramatically, and so have many of the neighborhoods once associated with Buraku history. Some have become ordinary residential districts. Others have been completely redeveloped. Walk through them today, and nothing immediately reveals the stories beneath the streets. Children play in parks. Office workers commute home. Small restaurants prepare dinner for local families. Life continues, much like anywhere else in the country. Yet history has a way of lingering beneath the surface. For decades, private investigators were reportedly hired by some families to research a prospective son or daughter-in-law's ancestry before marriage. Lists identifying historical Buraku communities were secretly circulated, despite efforts to stop the practice. These actions were widely criticized and helped spark public debate about discrimination that many preferred not to acknowledge. The controversy forced the nation to confront an uncomfortable question. How can prejudice survive when the people being discriminated against are indistinguishable from everyone else? Perhaps the answer lies in the remarkable power of inherited ideas. History does not always disappear when laws change. Sometimes it fades slowly, generation by generation, conversation by conversation, choice by choice. There is another lesson hidden here. Around the world, many societies carry invisible histories, communities shaped by class, by occupation, by race, by religion, or by social status. Japan is not unique in this respect. Its story simply takes a different form. Understanding these histories is not about assigning blame to today's generation. It is about recognizing that every modern society inherits both achievements and challenges from those who came before. Acknowledging the past is not a sign of weakness. It is often the first step toward building a more inclusive future. As we leave this chapter behind, another question begins to emerge. What happens when someone feels they no longer belong anywhere at all? When economic hardship, family pressure, personal failure, or overwhelming expectations become too much to bear. Some people fight through those challenges. Others seek help. And some choose an entirely different path. They disappear. Not through crime, not through mystery, but by making the extraordinary decision to walk away from the life they once knew. In Japan, there is a word for these people: Johatsu, the vanished. Their stories reveal yet another side of the country that few visitors ever see. There is a Japanese word that carries a quiet kind of mystery. A word that rarely appears in travel brochures. A word that speaks not of places, but of people. Johatsu. Literally translated, it means those who have evaporated. Imagine waking up one morning and deciding that your entire life is over. Not because you have died, but because you have chosen to disappear. No goodbye, no farewell, no social media announcement, no forwarding address. Simply gone. For most people around the world, such an idea seems almost impossible. How can someone simply vanish? Yet every year in Japan, some people make exactly that choice. Their reasons are rarely simple. Some are overwhelmed by debt. Others are escaping abusive relationships. Some have lost their jobs and feel unable to face their families. Others carry the weight of shame after business failures, divorce, gambling addiction, or personal mistakes. Japan has long placed great importance on responsibility, reputation, and fulfilling one's role within society. These values have helped build one of the safest and most organized countries in the world. But they can also create immense pressure. For someone who believes they have failed, starting over may feel impossible. Rather than confronting that failure, some choose another path. They disappear. Most are not running from the law. They are running from their past. Some quietly relocate to another city. Some take low-profile jobs that pay in cash. Others begin entirely new lives where nobody knows their names. Over the years, specialized moving companies became known for helping people relocate discreetly, often at night, for clients seeking privacy during difficult life transitions. Their services are legal, provided they are not helping someone evade the law or commit a crime. The existence of such businesses has drawn international attention, illustrating how some people seek a chance to start over without public scrutiny. For someone rebuilding their life with limited money, neighborhoods offering inexpensive accommodation may become a practical option. Historically, places such as Sanya and Kamagasaki have provided affordable rooms and access to casual work. That does not mean everyone living there has disappeared from society. Far from it. Most residents are simply people living ordinary lives. But these neighborhoods have, at times, offered an opportunity for people seeking a fresh beginning. Perhaps that is one reason these districts are so often misunderstood. People hear the stories. They imagine criminals hiding in dark alleyways. They picture dangerous streets ruled by fear. The reality is usually far less dramatic. Walk through Kamagasaki on an ordinary afternoon. You'll likely see elderly men chatting outside convenience stores, volunteers distributing meals, cyclists weaving through narrow streets, shopkeepers sweeping the sidewalk in front of their businesses, construction workers stopping for lunch, children walking home from school in nearby areas. Life. Ordinary life. It may not resemble the polished image shown in tourism campaigns, but it is life all the same. One of the biggest misconceptions surrounding these neighborhoods is the idea that poverty automatically means danger. Around the world, those two ideas are often linked. Yet they are not the same thing. Japan consistently records low levels of violent crime compared with many other developed countries. That does not mean crime does not exist. No country is completely free of crime. Petty theft, scams, and other offenses can still occur. Visitors should remain aware of their surroundings, just as they would anywhere else. But the image of these neighborhoods as lawless zones simply does not reflect the everyday reality experienced by most residents. The greater challenges here are often social and economic rather than violent. An aging population, limited employment opportunities, loneliness, isolation, mental health struggles, housing insecurity. These are quieter problems. They rarely make international headlines, but they shape lives every single day. Perhaps the greatest lesson from this journey is that places become easy to misunderstand when we only view them from a distance. A photograph captures a single moment. A headline captures a single event. A stereotype captures almost nothing at all. Only by listening to people can we begin to understand a place. As we traveled through Sanya, we met a neighborhood built by workers who helped rebuild a nation after war. In Kamagasaki, we saw the legacy of day laborers whose efforts transformed Osaka into one of Asia's great cities. Through the story of Buraku communities, we explored how history can leave invisible marks that endure long after laws have changed. And through the Johatsu, we discovered that sometimes the greatest struggles are the ones hidden from public view. Together, these stories reveal something profound. Japan's greatest strength has never been perfection. It has been resilience. Time and again, the country has faced extraordinary challenges. Earthquakes, war, economic collapse, natural disasters, rapid modernization, an aging population. And yet, through each chapter of its history, people have continued to rebuild. Not only its cities, but their own lives. That resilience can be found everywhere. In the office worker catching the last train home. In the elderly shop owner opening before sunrise. In the volunteer serving hot meals to strangers. In the retired construction worker remembering the skyscrapers he helped build decades ago. And in the person quietly trying to begin again after believing everything had been lost. These stories may never appear on postcards. They may never become viral travel photos. But they are every bit as much a part of Japan as Mount Fuji, Kyoto's temples, or the lights of Shibuya. Travel, at its best, is not simply about seeing beautiful places. It is about expanding our understanding of people. It is about replacing assumptions with curiosity, replacing judgment with empathy, replacing stereotypes with stories. Every country has neighborhoods that tourists overlook, communities easily people can become invisible, and reflection on the importance of treating every community with dignity, regardless of its reputation. Because behind every aging apartment building, behind every narrow alley, behind every quiet street, lives a person with dreams, disappointments, memories, and hopes that deserve to be heard. Perhaps that is the true Japan beyond the neon. Not hidden, not forbidden, simply overlooked. And maybe the greatest discoveries are not found by following the crowds. They are found by asking better questions, by slowing down, by listening, by looking beyond first impressions. If this journey changed the way you see Japan, even a little, then we've accomplished exactly what we set out to do. There are countless stories around the world waiting to be uncovered. Stories that challenge what we think we know. Stories that reveal the extraordinary hidden inside the ordinary. Thank you for traveling with us today. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more honest, immersive journeys into places most people never truly understand, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Carlos Discovery, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and always remember, the most unforgettable stories are often waiting just beyond the places everyone else is looking.